Hello and welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom and today we're going to talk about the upcoming Ghostbusters sequel and fourth film in the series. Before we get into it, there are spoilers for Ghostbusters Afterlife in this article. So if you don't want to know them, go watch that film and come back. I promise you it's really good. Anyway, we're on the Mirror here. Sadly it's the Mirror. Link in description below. Don't feel like you have to check it out if you don't want to, with it being the Mirror. Original Ghostbusters cast reunite for London-based sequel to 1980s classic. Ghostbusters original stars Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver and Dan Aykroyd will reunite in London to film the third new Ghostbusters film, codenamed Firehouse. Well, Firehouse would indicate New York. But anyway, let's get into this. The original cast Ghostbusters are set to reunite for a sequel. The original cast from Ghostbusters are set to reunite for a sequel. Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver and Dan Aykroyd are among the cast of the reboot of Reboot of the 1980s classic. What? Ghostbusters has always been set in New York, but the new movie will film in London, playing on the historical past of the city. I like this idea. I like the idea of it being... And Afterlife did this really well. It brought a more global... Alright, it was more national for Afterlife, but it brought a more global feel to these ghosts. Which makes perfect sense, and I love that they're expanding it out. The new movie is expected to begin shooting in the UK this March. Original stars will make cameos in the film. The focus is on a fresh cast of ghost hunters. Again, it makes sense. The older characters are based in New York. This is how you work in new characters with a few cameos from the classic actors who should never be recast for those roles before they get any solo ideas. Yeah, I'm liking this. I think the use of the term reboot, you can't reboot something and then make it a sequel to a film that came out 2 years ago that is also a continuation of the film that you're... It's getting a bit confusing, but let's try and stick on this. The late Harold Ramis died in 2014 and was brought back digitally as Egon Spengler for Ghostbusters Afterlife in 2021. A source told The Sun, studio bosses are taking a classic franchise, setting it in a new location but keeping the magic of the original. It's going to be brilliant. Okay, the magic of the original was well preserved in Afterlife. So I like that line. Getting the original stars interested in a remake reportedly wasn't difficult as they love the originals. I don't think this is a remake. Was Afterlife a remake and they just appeared in it? It's ridiculous. Should we read the article before we get into the ranty bit, shouldn't we? The original hit made the highest grossing comedy ever, was nominated for 2 Oscars and earned around $300 million worldwide. The new film is codenamed Firehouse and is directed by Gil Kenan, with co-writer and producer Jason Reitman, with cinematographer Eric Steelbergand. Reitman has been long connected with Ghostbusters. His dad directed and produced, and I think helped write in places, the first 2. Ivan. Jason was basically the driving force behind Afterlife. And he, like myself, like thousands, maybe millions of other people out there, he grew up with Ghostbusters as a kid. These films formed an integral part of his childhood. Obviously, he's closer to it than I am, but I trust him with this franchise because he was there. He understands the magic. He got to see it on set. He got to see it in the cinema. So if Reitman's involved, I'm happy to watch it and support it until he proves that he can't handle it, which I don't think he will. I think he's going to do a great job if he's part of this. The forthcoming sequel is expected to pick up following the events. It's gone from a sequel to a reboot. I'm going to stop. Following the events of the 2021 film Afterlife, speaking at Ghostbusters Day last year, Reitman said, "We're writing another movie. Tonight we're going to share the code name for the next chapter in the Spengler family story. The last time we saw Ecto-1 was driving back to Manhattan, the home of the Ghostbusters. That's where our story begins. The code name is Firehouse. Well, that all links into it being in New York. Ghostbusters, the gender-flipped reboot of 2016 that we will not talk about, so we'll just skip that bit. That's proper Ghostbusters. Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis, just classic. In 2021, Ghostbusters Afterlife went back to its roots with Oscar-nominated Jason Reitman writing and directing. Dad Ivan directed both 1 and 2. Original crew Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson and Sigourney Weaver starred with a group of teens led by Finn Wolfhard of Netflix series Stranger Things. Yeah, I mean Sigourney Weaver is in it, but okay. No mention of Ernie in London, which I find interesting. But then, if you've played is it Spirits Within, the game? The new game that they released that is like a follow-on from Afterlife in a subtle way. Ernie wouldn't be in London. Interesting. Little else is known about the plot of the upcoming film at this stage, or the official title. Meanwhile, a new Ghostbusters animated series is in the works for Netflix. The series is the third animated Ghostbusters television show and follows the real Ghostbusters, which aired for 140 episodes from 86 to 1991, which I loved, and Extreme Ghostbusters, which was released in 1997, which I vaguely remember. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I think it was a bit more like 21st century. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters is it's almost like they've taken the film characters and yeah, cool, really cool. I don't know if you can find it anywhere. If Netflix are creating, if Netflix have the license, maybe it's on Netflix. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm all up for this. I love the Ghostbusters franchise. The 3 films are incredible. 2 is a little bit wonky, but you know, I've got a lot of nostalgia for it because that's the first one that I saw. Ghostbusters will forever be a classic in comedy horror, I think. And Afterlife was a really good, faithful, heartfelt homage to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I'll put my review at the end. Yeah, I'm not against any of this. Like, I think the wording in the article is a little bit suspect. I don't think this is a reboot. I think this is a sequel. I think this means that Ghostbusters 1, 2 and Afterlife are the canonical foundation for this sequel. Moving it to London sounds great. I've always sort of wondered what was going on elsewhere in the world, in the cosmos, even if you really want to go Dan Aykroyd-y. I think this is great. I'm really looking forward to what they do next. I hope it doesn't disappoint. I don't think it will. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.